Welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's vlog, I will be showing clips of the vlog of me actually at the place and going to the place and all that other stuff. But there won't be mini clips because I wasn't confident enough to film like in person. Also, for the first con, there wasn't much happening. It was a really slow con, so there's not much clips, it wasn't much footage to get filmed. So I will play that footage for you right now. I do have my handy iPad, so I have everything written on here, so I'll tell you all of my stats, which you should have saw if I updated correctly. You should have saw some of that in the vlog. So, info about the con. The name of this convention is Cyclone Con. So it is it was a one-day convention, and it was on April 7th of 2025. Now, I did apply to this con, I want to say about maybe 2 months in advance, because it was my first ever convention, so I applied two months in advance. I didn't think I was going to get in, but I actually did get in. This con is a one-day convention, and it is in New Jersey. It's actually at a college. I'm pretty sure it's run by college students, or college staff or something. The booth fee itself was $40, which is really good, right? But it was only one day. Keep that in mind. It did come with the tables and chairs. And it came with 2 badges. Well, I think I had to purchase an extra badge or something like that. I forgot. But it was $40 in total. Although the table was $40, we did have to rent a car. Because we currently, so the person who drives me is my sister. I do have a license, but I currently don't drive just because this convention we did have to rent a car because we didn't have a car. The car fee, see, this is where the car fee was around $300. Now, it was $300, but it was $300 and $200 of those dollars were refundable, so we would get that back after. So in reality, the car fee was probably around one something. Actually, I think I'm gonna pull up the exact price. I'm gonna pull up the exact price. Hold on. So I pulled it up, and so the total paid after the refund was deposited, the total I paid was $179.27. So I paid $40 for the table, $179.27 for the car fee. But how I will say this, me personally didn't come out my pocket to pay this car fee. So luckily for me, I'm very thankful for my family because my dad and my sister, they do help me a lot when I do conventions. So I didn't so when I do say, oh, I paid this fee, like the booth fee, I didn't pay. As well as the car fee, I didn't pay. My sister helped me with both of those. She's a great help to my business. So thank you to her. But it was those 2 fees. And then we also We did eat food. Food wasn't expensive. I don't know how much we paid for food because my sister paid. I don't have that information. That's on her card. The day was Saturday, April 7th, 2025. And check-in ran from 6:30 to 9:30 a.m. And the con officially started at around 10 a.m. I will say we were running late because we did have to go pick up the car, and it was a whole thing. Like, we went to go pick up the car and we had to go there pretty early because it was like, I want to say it was an hour drive from where I live currently to the convention center, the college. So it was about an hour drive. I want to say we got the car at around 7. We went to go get the car at around 6 a.m. actually. Corrections. We went about 6 a.m. And the reason we went about 6 a.m. is because we knew we would have to go get the car, then come back to our house and put everything in the car, and then go and drive all the way back. So we left the house at 6. We got there at 6, and when we got there, nobody was there. There was nobody there to give us the key or anything. Nobody came to unlock the car. And so we were sitting there for like maybe a good 30 minutes, 20-30 minutes. And that kind of delayed us a little bit. So by the time we got back on the road to the convention center, it was a little later than we wanted to. So check-in was from 6 to 9, and we got there at around 9. We got there around 9 o'clock to 9:30ish, like exactly on time. And the problem with that is that since that was my first convention, I did practice to set up at home, but I didn't know how long it would take me to set up everything in one setting. And it did end up running into the time the convention started at around 10 o'clock. Like, they had us go up there. You could take the suitcase out, leave it there, and then come back and park the car. We did that. And that, of course, ate a little bit of time. And it was also raining that day. So I finished, I set everything up, I put all my signs up, and I think by the time I finished, it was around 10:30 to 11 o'clock-ish. So it took me, we ran over about maybe an hour. But it was okay, because within that hour, nobody came. There was nothing, I felt like there was barely anybody who came within that hour. So as you can see on the vlog, you'll see the time kind of go by, and you could see me slowly getting sales, but it wasn't really anything monumental. I will say, I do think that placement was a thing. So where we were placed, I feel like it wasn't that bad, because we were near doors. There was 2 sets of doors. This was one where you go back, you go down, and there's like a set of doors. There was one right next to us, which I think was that was pretty decent. However, next to us was also an empty table. I looked at other small business owners' vlogs where they go, oh, you shouldn't sit next to an empty table, because when a table's empty, people like to leave their stuff around and sit around, and and that's exactly what happened when I went to this convention. The table was empty and people kept coming down, putting their stuff down, screaming. There was kids everywhere. The table next to me, although they were there at the beginning, I will say midway through they did pack up their things and disperse. So by the end of the convention, I had both tables next to me empty. So the convention overall was very slow, like very slow. And I know other people probably did a tad bit better, or they probably had less expenses, maybe, because they have a car or whatever, but we did not. Our expenses, even though I didn't pay for it, I still count it as an expense. Our expenses were slightly on the expensive side. And so there was not a lot of foot traffic. With the whole like, I don't even know how many hours we were there for, not a lot of foot traffic. And if there was, although we were like sectioned like near the door, there was a row in front of us, and we were in the second row, and then I think there was a row behind us, and the row behind us I think were more of like exhibitors type thing, like those type things. And so in our row, there would be people coming. There would be like an influx of people at certain times, but there still wasn't many people. The row in front of us, like the very back row, the row in front of us. I don't know why, but for some reason they had a bunch of, it was just always people going down there. So I think that those people did a lot better than me. I do think that the weather contributed a lot because it was pretty cold. It was because it was early April, so it was still pretty cold outside, and it was raining that day. It was raining on and off, but it was still raining. And by the time we got home, it was like the rain had stopped, but it was raining when we left. Now, numbers wise, I will be transparent with my numbers because I don't think I didn't make enough for me to be like, oh no, I can't tell you this or can't tell, like, if maybe I'll get there one day, but for right now, I'm okay with telling my numbers. The thing that I sold the most was the things in my discount bin. I sold a lot of discounted items. Top item I sold overall was my clown pin, my certified clown pin, my discounted certified clown pin. I sold 3 of those. That was the most I sold of anything, 3. In total, I sold 16 items. So in total, out of the 16 products, 4 of them were out of my discount bin. So, and most things, all things in my discount bin are $6 to put it in perspective. In total, with all the 16 items sold, I made a gross sale of approximately $70. Now, as the con went on, I realized I wasn't gonna make back like that much money. It was a one-day con. It was only $40. So my goal was to make back table, which thankfully I did, but that's all I did. I made back table and a few change. I stomped it in the negatives, which I'm okay with. It was my first convention, so I wasn't expecting grand things. It was a really small one, so overall, I don't know. Overall, I don't know if I would go again just because we still don't have a car currently. Because we had a car, but it's not in the shop. So we still currently don't have a car. So for right now, I'm going to say I wouldn't go again. But that might change. Because as of recording this video, on December 2nd of 2025, there is still time to apply for the convention. And spots are not filled yet. So it is debatable. For the next convention, it was pretty close to the last convention. So CycloneCon, it was like within the same month, I think. So I decided to just put them all in one video, especially because I also have limited footage for this one because I was still filming on my phone. I was still, you know, getting used to it. The next convention was South Jersey Geek Fest, and I will play you that footage that I do have from that con now.
I do lots of them.
This goes the wrong shade.
So it's like you keep pushing me around and nothing.
Was also in New Jersey. It was farther out in New Jersey. This convention took place from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. So it was still another short convention. It was still one day. It was still a one-day convention. Now, the thing that was different with this convention and the first convention that we just went over was that it was farther. 2, this convention cost more money. 3, we didn't rent a car for this convention. And 4, this convention actually came with 8 feet table instead of 6 feet. CycloneCon, I knew I had enough for a 6-foot table. With Geek Fest, I did not know. I never set up for an 8-foot table before, so I was kind of panicking. South Jersey Geek Fest was on April 19th, so it wasn't really a month later, but it was a few weeks later, like around 2 weeks later. South Jersey Geek Fest time was the same time as CycloneCon from 10 to 5. Since it was a lot farther than a CycloneCon, and we didn't feel like renting the car, we didn't have enough money to rent the car, we didn't want to drive that distance because my sister, she's still not much of a driver. I'm not much of a driver. We don't like highways, so we decided to ride the train. We rode a train from the train station. We rode a Lyft or Uber, whatever, to the convention center. Once again, we got there late. Loading was from 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And so when we, wait, not 9:30, around 9:15 a.m. And so we got there at exactly around like 9 o'clock, 9:10, we got there exactly then. We left the house, we packed everything, we had everything packed. We left the house, we rented an Uber. We Ubered from our house to the train station, to the station. And so what had happened was, we got there and our Uber driver, very slow. We got there, as we got there, the train would have been departing. So we missed the train, we missed the original train we were supposed to get on. The next train was scheduled for around, I want to say 30 minutes later. And so we got on the next train, we did that, we had to, it was 2 train stops. We did the first stop, we waited, we got our next train to the next stop, and then we had to get on the Uber and go all the way to the convention center. And that was another like 30 minute drive. So by the time we got there, it was around exactly 9:10 a.m. So we get there, we check in, we go to our table, and we set up. And I say again, once again, this is the first time on an 8-foot table, so it took a little longer. And so we set up, and we are set up once again after the convention starts. So by the time we're set up, it's around, once again, 30 minutes to an hour after the convention has already started. Cost, here are the costs. So the table fee for South Jersey Geek Fest totaled to $129.02. The total would have been cheaper, but I opted to have them rent a table because I wouldn't have been able to get on a train and, carry just a suitcase with me and carry a table. That would have required me to rent a car. It was a lot easier to just rent a table. It was an 8-foot table, and so I decided to rent a table. And so that's what bumped the price up to $129. The train fee is around $25 per person just to go, and you also have to pay the train to come back. So in total, it was around $50 to go and come for one person. So it was 50 times 2. So all in all, it was $100 on train to go and come for 2 tickets. And then the Uber and Lyfts. Now, I do not think those Uber and Lyfts were with me because I didn't pay for those. My sister paid for those. So once again, I don't know the prices of those, but speculate they were around $30 to $40 to come and go. So that's another like $100. All in all, travel expenses, I will say it was about probably $200 in total, which it's not worth it for me. It's not worth it. That is a lot of money and a lot of time, because to get from my station to the one we had to go to, it took around 2 hours. So that's a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of patience needed to get from there to there. My goal was always to make back table, which was $129, so basically $130. I did make back table, and I will say, me personally, which is why I decided to go back and reapply for the next event, which was their fall event, which I did vlog and will be here, but it will be in a much later video because there are things that happened in between then. We got there, we set up, it was an hour in, and I want to say it took around an hour or so to actually get the first cell. And when that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be like the last one, except the only difference is that I spent more money. In retrospect, I spent more money on the table than the last one. Within the first, I want to say, hour and a half, 2 hours, I did start making sales. Things did pick up. I will say, in the CycloCon convention, I sold a singular keychain. In this convention, I was able to sell at least 5 keychains, which keychains at the time were my most expensive item I had. So my keychains are $15, they're $15, and those at the time were my most expensive item I had. And so when I sold one, when I was selling them, I was like, okay, I might be able to scrounge up enough. Around midday, we did have food. Once again, I don't know how much that cost. Actually, I showed it in the video. It was like a little like rice ball thing. I didn't like it. I won't lie to you. Did not like it. Don't think it was worth the money. For me personally, in my own taste. My sister liked it, I did not. And then by the end of the day, I made around $280 gross sales, whatever. Around 280 somewhere. I will say I don't have exact numbers because these happened months ago and there was cash, there was card, and so I can't remember the exact cash. I have the card numbers, but I do not have the cash numbers. So from what I remember, from what I wrote down, it does say I made 280 gross. For this convention, although I did sell more things, once again, the top seller with 3 sales were my discounted items. I sold 3 discounted, instead of clown pins, I sold 3 discounted goose pins. In total, I sold 30 items. Okay, and also in this con, in total, and like overall, my best sellers were once again my discounted bin. Out of the 30 items I sold, 7 of them came from my discounted section. Category-wise, my best seller was of course, my JJK stuff, my Gojo and Ghetto cats. I rated about a 9 out of 10. It's a really good convention. If it's more local to you, like it's maybe like a few minute drive or whatever, you have your own car, you're not doing all of this back and forth, then I would say go for it. And there are 2 more cons that I did do 2 more cons after this, so there will be another video on those 2 new cons I did. But that video will be after a few more videos because, as I said, the way I recorded things, I have a very long stockpile. Not that long, but like I have at least maybe 3-4 videos of stockpile until we get to that video. All in all, that's all. I had a great time at the conventions. I have nothing bad to say about them. All in all, I think that's all, and I guess we'll see you next time.